In the dawn of humanity, after Adam and Eve were cast out from the Garden of Eden, they began a new life. They had 2 sons. The firstborn was Cain, a tiller of the ground, a man who worked the soil with his own hands. His younger brother was Abel, a keeper of sheep, a shepherd who watched over his flocks day and night. Imagine the world back then, pristine vast, and inhabited by just this one family. Cain would spend his days cultivating the earth, planting seeds, and waiting for the harvest. He knew the rhythm of the seasons, the feel of the soil, and the satisfaction of seeing life sprout from the ground. He worked. Abel, on the other hand, lived among his animals. He guided them to fresh pastures, protected them from harm, and knew each one by name. He was a gentle soul, connected to the living, breathing creatures in his care. The time came for both brothers to make an offering to God. It was a way to show their gratitude and reverence. Cain brought an offering from his harvest, some of the fruit of the ground. It was the product of his labor, the best he had to offer from his fields. Abel, in turn, also brought an offering. He chose the best of his flock, the firstborn lambs, selecting the fattest and most prized among them. He presented this offering with a heart full of devotion. God looked with favor on Abel and his offering. The Bible tells us that Abel's heart was righteous, and his offering was given in faith. But for Cain and his offering, God did not show the same favor. We aren't told every detail, but the core issue seems to lie in the attitude of the heart. Abel gave his absolute best, a sacrifice that represented life itself, given with a pure spirit. Cain's offering, while from his own labor, may have been given with a different heart, perhaps one of obligation rather than sincere worship. This rejection was a turning point for Cain. He became furious. His face was downcast, filled with anger and jealousy. He couldn't understand why his brother was accepted and he was not. The first seeds of resentment began to grow in his heart, far more dangerous than any weed in his fields. Seeing Cain's inner turmoil, God spoke to him directly. He asked, "Why are you so angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it." This was a divine warning, a chance for Cain to turn back. God was essentially telling him, you have a choice. You can overcome this feeling. Don't let this anger consume you. It was a pivotal moment. Cain stood at a crossroads. He could choose to listen, to examine his own heart, and to change his attitude. He could choose humility and try again, or he could let the darkness of jealousy and rage take control. But Cain did not heed the warning. The anger festered. He let the jealousy poison his thoughts until he could no longer see his brother as his brother, but as the source of his pain and humiliation. One day, Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." Abel, innocent and unsuspecting, went with him. Out there, away from the sight of their parents, in the quiet expanse of the open land, Cain's rage finally boiled over. He rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. In that single, tragic act, the first human life was taken by another. The ground, which Cain had worked so hard to cultivate, was now stained with his brother's innocent blood. Imagine the silence that followed. The crime was committed, but it could not be hidden. Then the Lord called out to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" It wasn't a question of information. God knew what had happened. It was a question of accountability, another chance for Cain to confess. But Cain's heart had hardened completely. He answered defiantly, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" With these famous, chilling words, Cain denied his responsibility, not just for his brother's whereabouts, but for his very life. He rejected the fundamental bond of family and humanity. God's response was swift and solemn. "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." The very ground Cain had once mastered now rejected him. His life's work was rendered fruitless. His punishment wasn't just physical. It was a deep, spiritual exile. He used to wander, forever disconnected, restless, and alone. The weight of his punishment finally crashed down on Cain. He cried out to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." In his despair, Cain feared not just loneliness, but also vengeance. But even in this moment of judgment, there was a strange and complex act of mercy. The Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. This mark was not a badge of shame, but a sign of God's protection. A sign that, even in his fallen state, Cain's life was not to be taken by another. Vengeance belonged to God alone. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. The name Nod itself means wandering. He built a city and started a family, and his descendants became known for their skills in metalworking, music, and raising livestock. But the story of Cain and Abel serves as a timeless and tragic reminder. It's a story about jealousy, anger, and the devastating consequences of letting those emotions rule our hearts. It asks about the choice we all face between doing what is right and giving in to the darkness that crouches at our door. And perhaps most importantly, it asks us the question that Cain so coldly deflected: are we our brother's keeper? The story suggests that yes, we are. We are connected, responsible for one another, and our actions have consequences that ripple through generations. It's a powerful lesson from the very beginning of the human story. Thanks for watching.